This is Robert Mardlacci of the Mindshare Learning Board, Canada's Learning and Technology e-magazine. And happy Friday and Eid Mubarak to those who are celebrating across Canada and beyond. This is a special edition of the Mindshare EdTech podcast featuring an unboxing of EdTech with the legend himself, Peter Skillen from Code to Learn. He's the project and curriculum lead and a friend that goes way back when I first met him at my alma mater, the Toronto District School Board. And before that, the North York District School Board. We're aging ourselves a little bit, Peter, but look at us. Look at us. We look
Still
way
at it.
younger than we are. And kudos to you for staying in the game and making an impact. And the Code to Learn initiative as part of the Can Code project is a fabulous initiative in embedding coding. It is a new literacy, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
Yep. It's been, as you know, a literacy that's been a long time coming, as I guess all literacies are. I mean, let's face it, I
Yeah.
started with this many decades ago now. So, yeah.
Well, and we were reminiscing off air about the other legend, Dr. Seymour Papert, who was a mentor to you, and
Yeah.
Dr. Steger, who got me into the EdTech program, inspired me to do my transformational learning journey and my master's in EdTech. And, it really takes a village to transform education. And you've come of age. I mean, this is not something that is new to you. You've been talking about this literacy as Dr. Papert and Michael from the company that you're part of,
LCS. Yeah. LCSI.
aside that Dr. Papert had a Canadian connection with that as chairman. And was he founder of the company?
He was actually the founder of it, along with Brian Silverman
Right.
and others in the Montreal region. Yes.
What's really cool is we're capturing some history here. And I was sharing with you how I was honored to attend a think tank with Dr. Papert, the founder of Ask Jeeves, and 50 brilliant minds. I'd like to surround myself with smarter people like you today. And we were invited to envision the future computer for education at the Bear Point Lodge in Maine. And this was probably going back to about 2001.
Mm-hmm.
We need to capture some of that history because that period was so transformational.
It's a remarkable history, and I would love not just to capture it, but to have somehow have people embrace it, so that we're not starting new with every new technology that comes out, or stopping the use of new technologies as they come out. Because if you have that history and that pedagogical stance related to, let's say, constructivism or constructionism,
Mhm.
and you have that learning mindset, then and in terms of coding, there's a great deal of research that was done on coding in the 80s. And so for us to be surprised that kids could do this, that, or the other thing
Mhm.
shouldn't surprise us. Or to start with coding, or if we're familiar with the kinds of errors that kids make or learners make when they are coding, which are well documented, then we can help scaffold them faster to higher levels of thinking and deeper solutions in the coding area. So yeah.
Well, that's a great segue to Code to Learn that you're part of, and this national initiative is part of the federal government's Can Code project that you're part of. There's a number of providers, of which you're one of them, in partnership with Taking It Global and LCSI. And we are doing an unboxing of one of the products that you use regularly within your program. But talk to us a little bit about the opportunities for teachers. And this is all free of charge. I know one of the challenges today, post COVID, has been, professional learning, teacher release time, because teachers, there's such a shortage across the country. So
Right.
if you're considering making a comeback, and you're one of the best, I have to say, there's an opportunity for you. How does that make you feel?
Well, I mean, this is a tremendous opportunity. There's no doubt about it. The federal government has put funding into this. Uh, Code to Learn is part of Taking It Global. Taking It Global is the not-for-profit who has put the funding model together for us, and we get it from Can Code. And we were able to put together quite a collection of projects for teachers and students, all focusing on mostly focusing on social justice, equity, um, uh,
And
diversity.
it's very specific. This round is diversity, equity, inclusion, and the
Absolutely,
marginalized communities are a focus as well,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
absolutely. And we take a deeper approach.
Uh-huh.
There's this mindset and this meme going around that coding is easy and things like that. You know what? It's not easy. It's easy to get started, but it's not necessarily easy. Why would we want easy? That'd be ridiculous. We want challenging. We want to learn
Well,
deeply. We
some
want to
things
be
need to
learning.
be hard.
Got to be learning at
Yeah.
the edge of your competence. That's where learning occurs. And so, but what we have done is managed to embed coding within contexts that are rich and cross curricular and inviting to students. So, I mean, Your Voice is Power is one great
Yeah.
project, obviously, that where kids can, yeah, middle school and up, can get engaged with learning about Indigenous histories, issues in Canada. Indigenous musicians have contributed to the ear sketch sound bank, and so kids learn about social justice, Indigenous issues, coding, music, and then they create their own song. Coding for Climate. Do you want me to jump into
Thanks.
that one specifically now, or do you want to wait on that?
Uh, no, you can touch on that because the coding for climate, and I'm going to stop this share, is the focus for the unboxing today. So let's touch on that, and
Okay.
we'll let you do your little unboxing. Drum roll, please.
Well, look, it's an empty box. No, it's not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All the stuff that's in there is actually in my hand here. So, um,
And
this
we're aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals. That's the beauty of this project, isn't it?
absolutely, and this comes from one of our partners, Inksmith, a phenomenal
Yeah, they're a great
Canadian-based
company out of
company
Waterloo
out of
area.
Waterloo, and there are all these little parts they package in to work with the microbit, of course. Which, well, not of course, but microbit is such a popular tool these days,
Right.
and so these are available free to Canadian schools through the Inksmith initiative.
Well, and speaking of climate kit, if I shift my computer over a little bit, that's the Vireo hydroponic garden. And
Aha!
one of the things that we talked about was leveraging like a climate action kit for a hydroponic garden and then programming it to measure the water, the temperature, to track,
Yep,
and through VoIP or through other technology like a camera, students could watch their plants grow remotely, right? So it makes it a true IoT solution,
that's right.
and embedding some coding into. What do you think of that project concept?
Well, it's great because with this, what they
Right,
do, one of the things they do is they can put a moisture sensor
right,
in the soil, and have a little motor connected to a water jug kind of thing, and when the sensor indicates that it's too dry, tips over and gives it some water. And so, yeah, to be able to watch that remotely,
perfect.
great addition to things. So
So
with this one, you've got deforestation, insect farming, plants and pollinators, carbon farming, and advanced agriculture. Those are the projects involved, and that's the land one. There's also an energy one, which I don't have in my hand, but it
right.
focuses on.
Well,
It's got three
paint a
different
picture
components.
for that one
Yeah,
because
it's got.
you're such a great storyteller, and uh, isn't it about storytelling? Storytelling seems to be the rage today,
Well, it is, and
and it never changed, right? And that takes us back to the First Nations people,
that's right,
right?
for sure,
To
for
your
sure.
point earlier, there are things that worked in education in the past, and we tend to look for the shiny new objects, but with the past in mind is more important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with that energy kit, the three
Hmm,
project-based modules include like a wind energy project. So it's got a wind turbine and an RPM
cool.
counter. A solar energy project. So it's got a simulated solar array that can detect light, and an electric vehicles project. So it's got an autonomous robotic car that can avoid obstacles, which is sort of an old standard actually from the old Lego logo days of the 80s. That was developed with Seymour's company in Montreal as well. So
Very
there's
cool.
that
So
history.
and so as part of our Schools of the Future challenge, which is 1 month away, it's the Friday, May 19th at midnight is the deadline to enter. They can win a classroom makeover that includes your generous product donations as well. If I'm not mistaken, you had some books is that, and you might want to share that as well along. Yeah, there you go.
Well, Seymour's company developed Logo
Right.
commercially. I mean, Logo was developed in 1967,
My
programming language,
God.
the first programming language for kids, designed for kids, clearly through because Seymour worked with Jean Piaget, the ever so
Right.
famous cognitive or psychologist, rather,
Another legend.
developmental psychologist. So the latest version of Logo was called Lynx, the one, and this is produced by Montreal company as well, LCSI. But so this is a book that talks about it. It's free to Canadians, both the book and
So you'll throw in some of those books for the winners of our Schools of the Future challenge, no doubt.
absolutely.
That's
And
awesome.
one more thing about Lynx that's really important
Yeah.
to know: it's Canadian English. It's got obviously French, but we have it developed now in 5 Indigenous languages, thanks to the CAN Code funding, and we'll have more Indigenous languages as well. So this is an effort, obviously, to towards reconciliation and language development and language revitalization.
And, and
Yes.
thank you for that, Peter. And
Oh, sorry, one more thing. Many of the
sure.
projects that we've designed to work with links are also Indigenous focused. Um, and those have been developed in the proper way with community
Amazing.
involvement from Indigenous communities. So, yeah.
And so if educators are considering entering, could they reach out to you for some further tips and inspiration?
They can reach out to me directly, absolutely, Peter at codetolearn.ca, or go to the website, codetolearn.ca. And for every project that we've got mentioned there, there's a tag on how to get involved or how to connect and who to contact.
And you as a master educator, tell the audience here that's watching intently why they should enter, whether it's a student or teacher. These are, and so it's an invention challenge. It's the 15 Schools of the Future student invention. We had innovation, but innovation is a little esoteric. We want it to be very specific, and invent to learn, to win, and invent to learn. It's about creativity and problem solving aligned with the sustainable development goals. Make it real world. That's my thing.
Well, kids love difficult challenges. They don't, as we said earlier, they don't
Yeah.
want easy. And they have ideas that don't necessarily uh, that wouldn't necessarily normally arise in a structured environment. And so for them to have the opportunity to generate some number of possible ideas, especially if they're working with groups, generate not one solution path, but generate a number of solution paths, put them out there, reflect on them, let others give feedback on them, and then make the decision on the one that you think is going to work, and then go for it. But as you're going for it, they like to also maybe, oh, this is too difficult, I can't do it, so they'll switch their ideas. That's okay. Well, this is too easy, I got to make some, it's whatever. you know they got to learn these skills of how to navigate their solution building strategies, and
And
it's
it's not, thank
beautiful
you for that.
opportunity, Robert. So I'm really happy
Amazing.
to
And
be here.
it's not a direct path. It's
No,
not a direct path. And as Dr. Sparks, our chair of our EdTech program at Pepperdine, would say, It's hard fun. Hard fun. Have hard fun.
So let me tell you where that phrase came from. It's usually attributed to Seymour,
Right.
and that's fair, except it was Carol Sperry who worked
Wow.
with Seymour back in the day and whom we've had on our well, she's a friend of Code to Learn, she's a friend of mine for
Right.
has been for years. But it was her classroom actually where one of the kids came down the hall and said, "This is hard fun."
Wow. This is the history we need to capture. And
Yeah.
when I wish a book upon someone, Peter, it happens. And I'm doing that for you right now to capture this wonderful history of coding and EdTech that you've been a part of for several decades. I won't specify how many because we look way younger than we are.
No, you do. Especially in our fancy getup.
That's right. Well, we'll have to do a shirt trade because I'd like that one for the summer. So, with that, Peter Skillen, the legend, thank you so much for your time today and inspiration in having teachers enter our 15 Schools of the Future Student Invention Challenge.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And this concludes this episode with Peter Skillen, Code to Learn, and myself, Robert Merdlacci of the MindShare Learning Report. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep your learning curve steep.